of ours that provide technical assistance and support a lot of the services that you ladies are providing to business owners, like assistance around their operations and making certain that they're sound. We also partner with organizations that do similar work. And if we get a referral in from an organization like a BECMA, for instance, like an Ascendus, for instance, from an Acción, we're able to go up to $100,000 at a 0 credit rating, and also different criteria around the lending side. So I'm just excited to be part of the community. I am part of the community, but just excited to be able to bring the solution to the community and go deeper, all in all. So that's who I am. I'm a dad as well, got an 8-year-old. He just started playing basketball 5 weeks ago. He hasn't hit his first shot yet, but he did take 5 shots last Saturday. So I was very, very excited to see his growth, and he loves it. So, to all the moms out there and their parents, I'm a proud dad as well.
Thank you for the introduction, Jason. I want to give everyone in the call an opportunity to introduce themselves.
Yeah.
So we know who's in the room, and then have you jump into content. So I'm going to start with by the order of I saw you come in. Alba, Leona, Natasha, Victoria, Michelle, Kay, in that order.
Awesome. Feeding the baby as we speak. Coach, an author, and a speaker, and I'm excited to be here. I'm also a proud mama of 6, my youngest of which is here with me, to doing more broadcasting and video recording as well. So that's one of the things that I'm also newly kind of trying on, I should say. And I'm excited to be here. Thank you for your time, Jason, and I will pass it to Leona.
Good morning, everyone, and hello, Jason. Thank you for being here. My name is Leona Martin, and I am the proud owner of a career coaching business. I am out of Brockton, Massachusetts, and I've had this business probably, gosh, how long has it been? It's been about 7-8 years now, and I'm just happy to be here today. Thank you, to hear what you have to say. I really need to hear about expanding business credit, because that's a real goal for me right now, to kind of figure all that out. So thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'm next. Hi, Jason. Good morning. I'm Tasha. I'm the holistic life and wellness coach / engineer in the greater Boston area. I actually live in Arlington. I think like Leona, I want to know about the business credit and balancing that out with the assets, personal life to business, and how do you keep them together, or do you divide them up? Because I'm still one entity at this point. Nice to meet you.
All right, and then after Tasha, who would like to introduce themselves next? Victoria.
Good morning, my name is Victoria. I'm from Chile, and I feel very proud, like a woman, because okay, can you help me, Miss Clara?
Oh, you want me to help you translate? Sure, go right ahead. Speak to Spanish,
Okay.
translate to English.
I not practice my English muchos meses atrás que no hablo inglés, entonces me puede ayudar.
Many months since I spoke in English. Go ahead.
Me siento muy orgullosa de estar con mujeres tan poderosas.
I feel very proud of being with such powerful women.
Creo que ustedes tienen mucho que enseñarnos. En Estados Unidos tienen una mentalidad acerca de la economía que nos hace mucha falta en Latinoamérica. necesita.
You have a lot to teach us because in the United States, you have a different mentality about finances and economy, which we need that mindset here in Latin America.
Y me quiero seguir aprendiendo acerca de la mentalidad que Miss Clara nos enseñó en la universidad, en el curso que hicimos, porque a mí me ayudó mucho y me ha cambiado la vida, y quiero que también le cambie a otras mujeres de mi país.
I want to continue learning about your mindset, to continue learning from what I learned from Miss Clara in the class that I took from her. I was telling you that Victoria is one of my students from Harvard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Victoria,
By the way,
tell us what you do, but what do you do, Victoria?
Oh, soy psicóloga. I'm
Psych-
psychologist and executive coach. And now I'm working in a foundation, fundación. The name is Inspiring Girls, and connect with a professional woman with young girls for can change your mind about the future, professional future, and for grow up in all como espacios de su vida, in all
In all
topics.
areas of their life, to grow in all areas. So you're both a psychologist and an executive coach. Oh, and I forgot to translate that you said that my class changed your life. So,
Thank you.
thank you for being here, Victoria.
Oh, and Victoria, your English, I understood it. So
Thank you.
I think it was really, really done well.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Victoria. And then who do we have next? Who wants to introduce themselves? I think it was Michelle that I saw.
Yep, I'm coming on. Can everybody hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All
Well, we
right.
appreciate you. I know you're working. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
and my boss came in, he was like, oh, what are you listening to? I was like, oh, I'm on my coaching call. So I work full-time at a bank as an administrative assistant, but my shorter version of my long plan is to really lift my coaching business, which is focused on lifestyle, wellness, and development. Like Latasha, I am one entity right now. So I'm interested in hearing about what direction should I go in, and then when to look to split my personal finances from, excuse me, from business. Yep, that's me. And I'm based in Brockton, but my coaching is done virtually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Fellow banker.
All right, who's next? Who is introducing themselves next? Tiela, Kay, Victoria, I know you can't speak, but you can write your introduction on the chat if you could. Victoria was the bridge, the connection between Solomon and I. Drea is also working. So if you can't unmute yourself, just go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. Jason, I want to just go ahead and give you the opportunity to go ahead and begin, because it sounds like a lot of the other women they're working and moving around.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share screen. And so, today in terms of expanding business, and I took some notes down, ladies, that I'll definitely address, separating the personal side, probably Schedule C, versus getting an actual S Corp or LLC, what that means or what that could mean as well from an entity standpoint. The purpose of today, if you give me one moment to pull up the slide deck, and I'll run through this really quickly. We did have breakouts, but I'm going to just eliminate the breakouts and just run straight through, was to really talk about expanding, business credit. A few discussions that I like to give a few options that are out there, to consider for small businesses, and then also tips along the way in determining like which funding options could be the best for your business, and or some thoughts or strategies or ideas in terms of how to go about, thinking through lending. I know a few comments were made about, hey, like expanding the business, what that could look like, and or, trying to take the business from point A, smaller or hobby, to I want this to eventually transition to my full-time. And then just some key factors that lenders typically are considering in terms of loan applications to keep in mind. This is a similar presentation that I did recently, but I'll run through these options really quickly just in the interest of time. And if you have questions, of course, feel free to type them in and I'll go through at the very end. And or if you want to interrupt, that's fine as well. Okay. The SBA loans are, in general, SBA loans are guaranteed through the Small Business Administration, because the federal government, again, they guarantee and pay up to 75% of the loan if borrowers defaults. It just reduces risks by any opportunities or any lender lending kind of engine that we would use. So there are positives to going through the SBA in terms of the minimal amount that you can put down. And also the APR is a little bit lower from the SBA's perspective as well. What the SBA allows the banks to do, again, is just to leverage your risk. We're not walking into any deal saying, hey, Clara, you're going to default on this loan. It's more, in the event you did down the road, the SBA, we can leverage, the risk. And that's also, from a collateral standpoint for the bank, that's a really good option to be able to do more lending. A few options in terms of the most popular SBA loans to consider is the 7A through the SBA. That's really good for, businesses that are looking to expand, secure permanent working capital, or buy another existing business. The maximum there through that SBA product is $5 million. You got the SBA 504 loans. That's really to help to purchase fixed assets. That could be real estate, that could be equipment for your business. And again, that could be, upgrading property. If you're thinking about, hey, I want to go out and find a physical location, I do not want to pay rent, what does that look like? A 504 could be a good option to consider. Then the express loans, these are quicker, fewer hoops to get involved with, since you'll be, in terms of the back and forth approval process. And, that's a $350,000 maximum. And the bank's only backed for 50%, which is good. It really allows an inexpensive way for you to get into a product. So through the SBA, these are the three options that we typically see. I'm going to quickly just tap on the chat. I see a question or a comment. Okay. That's Clara's note, which is perfect. Another loan option could be a term loan. Term loans are what most people, think of when they search for options for their business. Your borrower, as a borrower, looking for money from a traditional bank or credit union, online lender, this is actually a term based opportunity that you'd pay back, very similar to what you'd have for a car loan, very similar to what you'd have for a mortgage, just on a fixed solution. The use of funds for these are typically going to be permanent working capital. I know we're looking to expand our business, things of that nature, inventory and or equipment. The business line of credit is a type of financing that really lets you borrow on an as-needed basis and pay interest only on what you borrow. Very similar to a credit card, as you can see. There's going to be a credit limit, that's applied, that you can use and repay the money that you owe. And you can access that same line throughout the draw period, which is great. Once the draw period expires, often at 24, max 24 months, you'll no longer be able to have access to the credit when that happens. It usually transitions at that point to a term, that can last up to 5 years. Equipment financing is also, if you're in the consulting world, you may not run into equipment financing that much, but you may have clients that need to purchase equipment, right? So we can actually lend against equipment for perspective, as they can serve as collateral for the loan. Because the presence of collateral also lowers the lender's risk, you may also be able to lock in a more competitive rate. The loan and terms also may vary depending on the cost of the equipment. The factors that we keep in mind are, when you think of the useful life, how long is the equipment going to last? So typically a fridge for this perspective is probably going to be 5 years. So me as a bank lender, I'd probably look at a 5-year term, okay? Commercial real estate, when a business is needing to buy commercial property, that might benefit from a commercial real estate loans. Like equipment, again, the assets that you're buying serve as collateral in the event of default. The lender obviously can foreclose, sell the property to someone else, at least recovering some of the investment. That's how the bank typically would view, asset-based loans. In terms of ways that you can qualify, it's typically going to be around the APR, the amount you borrow, and other factors like the value of the property, the business revenue versus the debt, the credit worthiness of the buyer, the cash flow, down payment size, and obviously the lender and the loan type as well. Then there are other options for lending that exist today. And I know Victoria is on the call here today. We were actually talking about a client through the program that LISC Boston's offering. It's called New Capital Access Training. That really breaks down the barriers. And then our program as well, the Equity Alliance for Business, which offers character-based lending, not credit-based lending. So there are definitely options out there today that are different, that provide lighter credit restrictions and programs as well. The phase 2 of the presentation is really kind of jumping into the options and what's best for your business. What I typically see in terms of the most common reasons why businesses are looking for funding is for capital expenditures and maybe to consolidate, a few business pieces of debt, if it's lines of credits, credit cards, etc. To expand permanent working capital. Hey, we're looking to, go into a new area. We need marketing. We need to hire staff. Again, for marketing support, growth, expansion into new territories, new space, purchasing property, equipment, inventory for your business. These are just common things that we hear in terms of the reason for. And I think this part's going to kind of go into, ladies here on the call, really understanding why you would need debt, right? For the lender, without information from you, it'd be tough to really recommend funding options that maybe work best. Some of the key factors that you may, want to clarify is really deep knowledge of your business, the experience that you have as an owner, the expertise that you're providing as well. Do you have a business plan and what that may or may not look like today? What is the need for lending? Really kind of understanding why you need lending. The credit that you have as an individual. The ability to repay a loan or a line of credit along with the capital, like what does that look like? And then just within your industry, what other kind of factors are out there? What makes your business stand out or separate differently than the other organizations within your space? All of that can be incorporated obviously into the business plan. We could discuss, a few additional factors, but, really understanding your business and why you need lending, very, very important. A few tips and questions you should ask yourself before, really shopping and or thinking about lending is, why do you need funding? How much money do you need? Again, like, what are you using the funding for? What are the uses? How long will it take to repay the debt back? In your opinion, before just kind of generally spitballing ideas, getting it down on print, and then what documents you need to gather before applying. A few additional tips is your business growing? And if so, how is the business growing? If you take an inventory of time to kind of look back and say, wow, I got, these clients from this area or this referral source, understanding how your business is growing is important. What's your credit score? Why is your credit score where it is today? And what have you done to improve your score? Let's talk about that, right? Do you have a business plan or a business model in place? Again, like for the business plan or the business model, that's something that, Clara can work through and maybe make, some good recommendations. Again, I know Victoria Downs has a great model at Support Small Business Strong, right? Knowing the uses for funding is very important for lenders to have a full understanding, and it really helped to talk with you about funding options that may apply. 3 typical uses are to cover capital expenditures, really to update key equipment, to improve, the office space. We want to get new countertops, critical growth elements so your business can move forward. Because your business is just growing rapidly, you need funding. But give me more detail. Like, what do you mean by you need funding to support your business? Oh, to purchase equipment, to increase marketing efforts, to do SEO on the website, right? Looking to buy a new location, really to invest in the business. Okay, like, give me more information. How are you going to invest in the business? Oh, I need to hire staff. I need to make improvements along my technology. I need to bring consultants in and resources to really help to contribute to the growth. Really understanding why you need the funding is very important for, the lender to really kind of dive into that space. And again, like, once you have a good understanding of the what, the why, and the how, at that point, it may make sense to talk to a lender, Small Business Strong, talk to Clara, consult your CPA. Each of those parties can really give you some really, really good assistance in understanding funding options that may work best. I'm going to just stop just for a minute, just to kind of feel any questions or any kind of comments, in terms of the different types of options that are out there, and really diving into reasons why you need lending, to see if there's any questions before jumping into the second half.
There's a question in the chat, Jason. So it says, so an LOC is similar to a home equity loan?
Okay, yeah, so a line of credit, business line of credit's more, if I were to say, hey, what's a good comparable, I'll say like a credit card. or like a home equity line of credit, right? As opposed to a loan. Loans would be more termed out. But yeah, it can be deemed something similar, the business line of credit. Correct.
Is it secured against something or isn't it? It's
Usually it is secured. And again, it could be secured against equipment. It could be secured against the assets of the business. But also, again, if there's a shortfall in security from a collateral perspective, that's usually where we can leverage the SBA to come in. Because the SBA helps us to spread the risk out, in essence, to confirm collateral. So there are ways to work around if you don't have collateral, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does. As far as like, when you say you're like, oh, there's like all these things that you need, right, in order to qualify for a loan.
Yep.
Kind of getting somebody to that point of, having kind of like what a solid projections would look like, or like, is that something that the bank will support someone with, like, to kind of be ready for the loan, or you're suggesting that people kind of go to either their CPA or a consultant or Small Business Strong, like one of those organizations, or is that something that the bank will help somebody be ready, be loan ready?
No, it's a great question. And really, like, the next part of the presentation goes into kind of documents that we would want to see. And yeah, we do have partners that we work with today that are designed to really help businesses with their business plan, right? Designed to help businesses to help to build out their projections. What does the future look like the next 2-3 years with the business? Designed to work with business owners too. I know there's a few questions about, hey, I'm just doing everything under me right now. How do I split it out? There's CPAs that are designed and ready and willing to help talk through that transition, to getting you over here and then having the business information over here and having you pay yourself as an employee, right, of your business, the same way you may be getting paid as an employee of your employer, and how to structure that, things
So
of that
Jason,
nature.
what I'm hearing you say is that, like, in order for you to be ready, kind of ready for a loan, you have to separate yourself from your business entity.
That the question kind of came up twice. So we work with sole proprietorships. So if you got a Schedule C on your personal tax returns, that's not a deterrent in my world from a lending standpoint. If you haven't set that up, like an LLC, if you haven't set up, your business as an EIN, as an entity, I would recommend you at least start that process. But you can have your EIN and your entity set up, and you're on the Secretary of State website, right? You can have that all set up and still be a sole proprietor. So I can work with you today if that's the case. I think for owners that are sole prop, the real question in terms of sole prop versus LLC or S Corp or incorporating is around really the risks of being a sole prop in the event there's like a suit or something of that nature, right? So there's more security if you incorporate, for sure, than if you remain a sole prop for your business. So I've always kind of talked to folks about the idea of, again, we talked a little bit about risk for the bank. Hey, we may go SBA to help to leverage the risk. So for you as individuals, if you're a sole prop, I'd probably, if you're comfortable in that space, that's fine. There's some folks I've talked to, they've got like home, second home maybe, And they're like, hey, I don't want an issue with my business if it's like a second business or their primary to come back. And I'm going to talk with my CPA about transitioning from a sole prop to an LLC, just for more space and leverage around that. So that's really the concept around it.
But
And
what
then
you're
how
saying is
you-
like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, Jason, but I'm like,
Yeah.
but you can still get, what you're saying is you can still get a loan, even if you're a sole proprietor. And, you know, so one of the things that I think that I had talked to you about was, like when I first opened my business, I had a loan through, I think it was Accion.
Yeah.
That was like my first loan for $10,000, and I was not an LLC then.
Right.
But one of the things that kind of motivated me to get this loan and not do the things I did with the loan is it was the fact that someone said to me, you know, the interest is you can write it off.
Yeah.
You can write off the interest on your loan. So it's like you're almost kind of like getting free money in a way to use for your business. And I didn't know that. And so I'm sharing that with everybody here today because sometimes we think it's like, oh, you either have to, you know, use your own money all the time, or, you know, like what are the benefits of having a loan, or, you know, getting a business loan. While we know that it'll definitely help you expand your business, but there's also this other part of being able to write off the interest, right?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. So part of what I look at in the tax returns, okay, you know, for the business as things that I add back in to the income are interest, are taxes, and depreciation.
Mm.
So those are all things that can take hey, we gross $10 to, hey, now we're at $25, or we net at $25 because we're able to add those factors back in to help as well. So to your point, there are positives that, you know, can really kind of help the business from a lending standpoint as well.
But I also want to open up the floor for anyone who has like
Yeah.
any specific questions before Jason goes on to the second portion. I'm hearing crickets.
No, that's fine.
So
It's a
if
lot of information. So I do want to take just a moment just to go through some of the options. And I think to Clara's point, if there's any questions that you have in terms of, I don't know how to get access to get to that end solution in terms of what, you know, Jason would need, that is completely fine. You know, we've got resources that are willing to work with you to help to build that out. You know, I got an email this morning from, you know, business 6 years or 6 months in that's looking to, she's hitting the ground running, doing her thing. But she's like, hey, I think I want to get my business plan a little bit more secure. Do you have resources that can help with that? And I'm like, yeah, let me go ahead and connect the dots to this organization that focuses in on women business owners and helping to get their business plan together. Okay. So don't be overwhelmed at all. This is just more of a snapshot. Okay.
Yeah. Jason, Victoria has a question on the chat. She said, is that always true, being able to write off the interest on the loans? So Victoria, that's what I do. That's what my accountant does for me. I don't know if it's always true.
Yeah, I won't. You're gonna have to consult with your CPA on that one.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying, for me, when I see interest on the business side, from a lending standpoint, like if you were to apply, you know, Latasha, if you were to apply for a loan and I see that you are paying interest, it's being reported on your tax returns, I do add that back in. Yeah.
All right, Jason, you want to go to the second half?
Yeah, yep, we'll be quick. So here's 5 things that lenders gauge, right? We gauge the buyer's capacity, your ability to pay the financial institution back. We're going to review what the income looks like for the business and the expenses. It's often provided by the tax returns. We're going to try to understand the buyer's capital, your money that you've invested obviously into the business, down payment on equipment, for example. We're going to want to really understand if there is collateral, what it looks like, assets that you can pledge against the loan, personal guarantees. That may also include like the SBA to jump in to support. We're going to want to understand the character of the business, the credit behavior, and what we can do to help support that, the payment history, the credit, and then the conditions, right? Really what the market is doing within your industry. Obviously, you all can throw that back at me, right? Hey, like, what's SVB doing in your industry? And we could talk about that in a whole separate dialogue. But also just understanding where your business stands when you compare to the industry. Both the strengths and the weaknesses and what we're doing around those for the business. And I can help to walk you through that specifically for your business. For us, like just understanding the history of the owner, I like to just say we're kind of like nerds in that we want to collect data, right? So understanding the history, the data around the tax returns is going to be important, for your business. You may be under 2 years in business, which is fine. But we want to really understand your personal tax returns for the last year to 2, and also the business tax returns for the last year to 2. Obviously, if there's less years active, however many years you've been active. We want to understand if you've been around since before COVID, just how the business performed. Did you receive PPP? Has it been applied for? Has it been forgiven? We want to understand if you have an EIDL, which is also an SBA loan, has it been converted over into a term loan? What's the rate? What's the term of it? This is all important just for us to understand more of the history of you as a borrower, of your business. What was COVID like, to help us build a narrative, right? A few other things in terms of where you are today, your present picture. We're going to want, from a data perspective, to understand, hey, like, how did 2022 end up for you? Can you share your interim financials? What's that? Can you share the balance sheet, income statement, profit and loss for the year ending December, aging? Don't be alarmed by this information. If you need support, we've got folks that can jump in to help you to pull any of this information together. Okay. Lenders will likely want to see, hey, like, how are you starting the year off in 2023? The later we get into April and May. Reason being, if we've got your year 2021s, and then we have no other kind of data until April or May 2023, that's like a year and almost a half worth of missing data, right? So we want to try to see if we can get a present picture of where you are today, in addition to the past. And in terms of the future picture and what that looks like, we're going to ask for, obviously, a loan application. The personal financial statement's also part of that loan application, kind of talks to where you are today. If we go SBA, we're going to want to talk through those SBA forms. For the future, what does that look like? Can you share your business plan? If you don't have one, that's fine. Can you provide, 3-year projections with some ideas around, hey, we're gonna grow because we're gonna land this contract. Where we landed a contract that starts in July of 2023 through the state, because I'm registered as a WBE. It's fantastic. But you also probably need to increase some of the expenses around that. I might need to hire, a consultant to come in as a 1099, right? So just having some rationale around the numbers is going to be important in terms of building the story. A few things that I will work with you on is really kind of understanding what your existing client base looks like, right? Are you working with the business clients versus individual clients? What's that percentage look like? What's the percentage of sales that you have from business clients, commercial versus individual consumers, right? How are you getting opportunities, today? Is this from, hey, I show up at this networking group and I always get deals. Okay, let's talk about that, right? Let's build that into your story. What about the sourcing of the opportunities, again, where you're finding them? Are you registered as a WBE or an MBE today? Be prepared to talk about.
Minority, that stands for Women Minority Business.
Yep. So women business enterprise and also minority business enterprise, you just get access to potential opportunities. And again, Jason, what the heck are you talking about? That's fine. I can help to guide you through and talk separately about what that could look like. Just knowledge of your competition, right? Are the local competitors, national ones? What percentage of the market share do you have? This is something I work with all of my clients on to help to build the narrative so we can go in and try to see what we can do to get, approval for funding.
Okay.
Lastly, for me, I'm always going to do what I can and work with you to understand your story, the past, the present, the future. That includes like the financial data, the past, the present, the future, and tying them together, collaboratively. Be comfortable, really answering questions around each story, the business plan. When we talk, I'm always going to ask questions like, tell me a little bit more, why is that? Or how'd that happen? That's very interesting. Do you need support? Again, like every business has their own story that's unique and special to them. And that's the flavor that I want to try to see if I could bring along.
So what I'm hearing you say, Jason, based on this, is that you are willing to work with folks to kind of get them as ready as possible to be, I don't know if this is a word, lendable, to get them to that point. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've got, I like to say, hey, if this is going to make you like sweat or shiver or shake, if this is like way too much data, there's no way I can get there. I'm like, no, it's pretty simple. We've got partners that we can work with to help to fill in the past story, fill in the present story, and fill in the future story for you. And that's what we want to do, is really work with, our business owners. So
this is Jason's information here. We'll make sure to include it when we send out the recording of this call as well.
Sure.
So that you can contact Jason. Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much for sharing this information. Does anyone have any specific questions for Jason before we say goodbye to him?
Before y'all boot me out.
And then we go to the second part of our call.
I just want to say thank you. It's good stuff to think about. And I know for me, definitely taking the steps to become lendable, right?
Or credit ready. What's the correct term, Jason?
To get into the next level.
Level up.
Help me level up. Like, that's what this is all about. And there are groups out there that's what they're designed to do. Like they're funded to help you. And we're partnered with a lot of great ones that we're reaching out and we want to help. So if there's any questions that you have, the best starting point is, I need to go level up. How do I do it? You just ask the question and let's get started through the process. And would love to help.
Thank you, Jason.
I did have a question.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, is there a way, do you guys work on just taking out personal loans just to build your credit up until you get to that state of producing all the additional documents with the business? And the reason why I say that is I had to get my car repair, and the guy said, oh, you could take out a loan through us, 0 interest for a year and pay it right back. And that built up my credit. So I'm also repairing my credit and work in my business because I went from 2 income households, now it's 1. So my debt to income ratio is like way off. Do you guys do programs like that? Where I don't have to do the whole business side, but I'm still building my credit on the side?
Yeah, no, we've got several options. And there may even be business loan options that you'd be involved in right away, like through my program, the Equity Alliance for Business. We can align some resources that can support the credit side.
Yeah.
That can, kind of support lending from a credit perspective, but also it supports, hey, let's look at the income versus the debt on the personal side. And what does that look like when you incorporate our debt? So there's different, solutions that are out there today. And I mentioned one like through LISC, through Victoria's Group. I know Clara mentions Ascendus, former Axion. They're a partner of ours as well. So there are a lot of different options out there today that weren't there yesterday that may apply today that we could talk to.
Thank you.
I know it's like a little crazy, but yeah, it's a different world out there.
Well, it's hard for entrepreneurs, right? So I came from corporate and I'm an entrepreneur. So that my risk went way up compared to having the steady income coming in consistently. It's the inconsistency and the building of the business that it's harder to find that support. Not because it's just that prediction. I could say I'm going to make double or triple my income, but that proof of that is not necessarily there. The only proof I have is my past experience or my tax returns, if that makes sense. So that's why I keep on asking those questions, because they're looking for stabilities, most of the banks.
Right. And again, every business story and every story traveled is different.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do, is uncover those and then put together a package, whether that's through partnership and then reentry. There are a growing number of different paths to lending to kind of get your business to the next level, to level up, as Clara mentioned. I don't want to dominate. I know you guys have a second half of the presentation, but
yeah, no, this is fine. I mean, as long as if people have questions, I want to ask you a question that I feel like it's lingering and nobody is asking. But like, what if you are like, you're in business and sometimes for, a couple of years, you might be like operating in the red,
right.
Just trying to get the business off the ground and, it's not profitable yet.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility for lending at that, for business credit at that point?
Yeah, no, we all can tell stories about, maybe some good, but mostly how difficult COVID was. So there are many businesses that were in the red during COVID, even after receiving funding, right? And, we've seen some businesses really rebound well, or they went from really in the red to now they're positive and going.
From red to orange.
red to orange to yellow to they're working their way right up that rainbow. They're climbing that rainbow ladder. But you know, eventually they hit positive, right? And we would look at that kind of like horseshoe and we would say, okay, like they're kind of near where they were in 19 or so that's part of why I like to usually lenders are like, hey, give me like the last 1 or 2 years returns. If you've been in business longer, I actually want to hear about the COVID story. And I want to hear about like what happened with the business because I can build a narrative or a story around that. So I actually welcome, you know, businesses that have fought their way through it. And if you're quote unquote fighting your way through it, there are partners out there that can help, you know, you to give you strategies around, hey, how do we get our business from this point to that point as well, right? So there's different ways to look at that.
Okay. So in the short answer, it's like it warrants a conversation to
Absolutely.
see what kind of a story you can tell. Yeah, because I mean,
And
even
or
when
what and or what resources you can align me to yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Does anyone else have any last questions? Any last question for Jason before we let him go? Well,
I
thank you.
thought Leona, she was coming. I was like, uh-oh, here she comes. I gotta brace myself real quick.
No, actually, Clara asked the question that I was thinking in my mind. So thank you, Clara, for bringing
You're
that up.
welcome.
Yeah, yeah.
You're welcome.
No one has any questions about like Silicon Valley Bank? Am I off the hook with that one?
Oh,
Banking? Are we good? No? Okay. Yeah,
We'll have
I'll
that
address that
discussion
just
when we get,
just
we'll
quickly.
have that
Yeah.
discussion when we get to our millions.
Yeah, no, that bank was the 13th largest bank in the US. It failed, right? They literally had to shut the doors down for a few days and they were bailed out by the government. You know, really understanding your lenders is very important. I don't think a lot of people understanding your banking institution is very important, right? Like doing homework, understanding how the same questions that I threw out there. Hey, are you collateralized? You know, is this a safe business? You should be also, you know, doing your due diligence, you know, for your current institutions and or others. So, you know, I'd be very open to talk about some of the things we've got going on. Like my practice is a portfolio, meaning like a bank only solution that just shows that the health of our bank to be able to roll something like this out versus, you know, there are other banks that are heavily like in the pre-revenue stage, COVID hits, you know, a sector dives a little bit and then you run into some items like you've seen. So if there's any questions that you all have again on that topic, you know, we could talk all day on it as well, but just really knowing who your vendors are, very important.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jason, for your time today. Thank you for your knowledge. I will definitely be we'll share all of your details in the call notes, like once we end the call. And you and I will be speaking soon.
Yeah, lots of love. Happy Women's Month, the former Black History Month, and just look, just keep doing your thing, ladies. I'm forever in debt of the opportunity to say hello this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
thank you.
All right, be well.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, ladies. Thank you for being here. Want to jump onto the second half of this call, which is about sharing your win and setting an intention for the month ahead. Who would like to get us started?
I will.
Leo.
I will. Oh, gosh. I'm buzzing right now. I've got so much going on, so much in my head. So first of all, I wanted to just share with you guys, and actually, I think I sent you, Clara, the email maybe not the email, but the flyer. So
Mhm.
last night, I, along with another woman here in Brockton, were honored by the Brockton Democratic City Council for the outstanding work that we've been doing in the community. And we were awarded with all kind of citations and all kind of stuff from the mayor. We had somebody from the State House. We had officials from the Brockton City Council. It was a beautiful event. I was overwhelmed with love last night. And you know, they read my bio, and I mentioned, of course, that I was a business owner and a career coach and all that good stuff. I was walking around kind of midway through the event, giving out my business cards. I said, I better take advantage of this. There were a lot of people in the room. But I just say that to say that, I wanted to share that because, while I was honored, I'm also very humble in the fact that in spite of, getting that award, I'm really about just helping people. And that's one of the reasons why I got into this business with the career coaching, because I'm just so passionate about helping people find, their ideal job, their dream job, the ideal career for themselves. So that was really special. And, being honored for Women's History Month was just special. And I'm hoping that I will get some clients out of some of the people that I met last night, because there were a few people that were like, oh, is that what you do? But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to just share that. And actually, I have had a couple of new clients this month as well. So, things are steady, not moving as much as I'd like them to, but, they're moving. At least I'm not stagnant, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm just happy to be a blessing to somebody.
Oh, of course, Leona. Congratulations. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Leona.
Thanks.
What are you intending for the month ahead?
Oh gosh. So my intention for the month ahead is I have written a proposal to the director of the Brockton Public Library to do some workshops, some career coaching workshops. And I've actually spoken to him informally, and he wanted me to get him some information on what I could provide. So that's my intention, and my goal is for him to say yes, that I can do this. And we talk about how much they're going to pay me to do that. So, yeah.
Yay. It's much needed.
Yeah.
Much needed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leona.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Victoria, I saw you come back on camera. Did you want to say something? You're muted. I can't hear you because you're muted. Estás en silencio.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm very grateful for the space, because we need this time like a woman, and we need to help. We need to I don't know how to say, como unir fuerzas.
Unite forces.
Yes, and expand our mind, because I'm listening to Leona. And here in my country, the women like Leona are very like so, oh, my life is over and I don't want to do anything because I'm a woman with a very many experience, a lot of experience, but I don't have opportunities. But like a women, we can give together opportunities.
Yeah,
and
that's why we have this group.
yeah, with little steps. And this is, I'm very grateful. And we will meet, Clara.
Yes, we will.
about this. I love your energy, like a woman. I'm Latina, and I have the energy like a Black woman too. I love the the Black woman and the culture, because we have a very different energy. We are more strong, strong, and I don't know why. It's or not. Maybe it's natural, and we are more como sinceros, Clara.
Sincere, more
Yeah.
sincere. Yeah.
I don't know. I can feel this with women like you way of see the life.
The way we see life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Grateful. I'm very grateful.
thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Leona. Who came after Leona? Because usually we go in the order that you came in, or whoever wants to speak next about one win that you're sharing, one win, and then one thing that you're intending for the month ahead.
I can go next.
Okay.
I have an exciting opportunity where I'm going to be doing some video broadcasting that's going to be broadcasted on 2, possibly 3 different channels, which are in the Randolph area, the Boston area, and possibly the Rhode Island area as well.
You're gonna be on TV.
Huh?
It's like you're gonna be on TV.
I'm gonna be on TV, guys. I'm gonna be on TV. This is exciting. So I'm going to be co-hosting a show called The Best Is Yet to Come. And as a result, I have a photo shoot this Sunday. So I got to get my hair did. I might get some lashes in. I might do a whole shindig so I can look the part of this co-host of this show, which is super exciting because what is trying to be birthed out of me is me having my own show that I can broadcast on TV en español y también en inglés. So hopefully a lot of opportunities will open up as a result of me just trying this on with somebody else's show and showing up and giving it my yes, giving it my all, and seeing what comes of this opportunity, as well as learning what happens behind the stage. So I'm super excited about how to develop some of these relationships, these contracts, and things of that nature. So that's super exciting. And then my intention for the upcoming month is to hire help. So to hire a virtual assistant that can help. I have a couple opportunities in mind, and I just have to weigh out. I have to have a plan A and a plan B to see which one would be the best opportunity for me, so that I can be able to leverage the help to be able to scale.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I know you had texted me, Alba, about that, so we can find a time so I can share how I do it. Beautiful. Congratulations on the show. Can't wait to see it. Litasha, would you like to?
Sure. Congratulations, both Leona and Alba. I'm proud of you guys. My big win. There's a few. The biggest one is tackling Facebook ads. I manifested these 2 young kids who helped me, and I got a lot of lead generation from it. And I don't know if you guys know, I used to project manage software. So I'm really, it's still energetic work. So it's the same to me, if you guys know that, but I'm back to technology because they're doing really well, but they're doing poorly with customer service and explaining things. So I am in love again. I just need to figure out how that fits into my business, because it's what I did for like over a decade. So the thought behind there is to help people with lead generation, manifestation, and living their best life. That's what the theme is. The reason why this is what I'm going to have to work on is because I've been leading with wellness and weight loss. And I talk about this behind the scenes because people are not getting sleep and relationships and kids. I don't know how to do the switch in my business to lead with, hey, do you want to make money? And do you want to grow your business? So I don't want to be that person. I like the wellness. So I'm working on my messaging for April. and presenting it, so I don't feel like I'm working on lead generation, Facebook ads, helping you. So any of you guys, if you guys need help with that, they literally do it. When I say manifest it is, I don't work with anybody where my business has to pay you. And they said, okay, we'll just take 30%. So I didn't have to come out of pocket except for Facebook ads. And again, you guys know I know how to crunch numbers and love all of that. That's why I said I'm in my geek zone. And so it did work out. So now I have to double and triple that and bring more income in. And so that's where I'm at right now. So if any of you guys are interested, you know, that you do have to give them, you either give them 500 up front or 30% of your income if you have no money, and you just have to pay for the Facebook ads, which is where I'm working on, and making sure that they're stopping the ads, not spending all your money, and make sure that they're getting quality leads. And I did, I got at least 2 clients, and I still have about 47 leads to go through, and still put them in my group. They don't have to work with me one-on-one. I need to figure out what to do with the rest of the people that are qualified. So that was my biggest win. And then again, my goal for April is, how do I do the lead generation, the energetic work? I'm going to do another workshop for you guys if you guys are interested, because I need some more testimonies. So if you guys want to do one-on-one or another workshop, I want to walk you guys back through the energy, mind, body, heart, and soul, and then solve one problem intensely with you guys to see if you guys get unblocked.
So you're offering to teach the what you taught us last time, and or do it one-to-one?
One-to-one or group, yes. The in exchange for a testimony, I'm just building it up from a business entrepreneurial side, because you guys are not coming to me through wellness. You guys are coming through me through the business aspect, and I like the energy. So I'm just trying to get additional testimonies or exchange of services. It doesn't matter, but yes, I'm offering that up all week.
So that means I owe you a testimony then.
Is it working? How's your sleep? Yeah, because the
It's better. Natasha was working with me on my sleep, getting to bed earlier. It's much better. It's working out much better, because anyway, it's a long story, but the point of me going to sleep earlier is so I can wake up earlier and have more energy.
That's a real problem. So
yeah, so it's working. I'm definitely gonna write you a testimony. But Natasha, put your information on the chat so people know where to reach you. If they want to take advantage of that. Natasha's amazing. She coached me many years ago, and I still use her analogies. I was using it yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna turn this ship around. Yeah. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you. Who would like to share next? Their one win that you want to share, celebrate with us, and then one thing that you want to intend, that you're intending putting energy into for the month ahead. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. Oh, and Victoria shared hers, by the way, on the chat. She said she want to secure a contract with the Urban League to teach a 7-month program. That's awesome. And you're planning a women's empowerment brunch in collaboration with the BRA. And my intention is to execute flawlessly and have harmony with all of hats and responsibilities. Victoria, who's the BRA? And make sure you send us the information. She'll put it on the chat. Brockton Redevelopment Authority. Okay, Brockton.
Oh,
Brockton
okay.
needs all the love. Yes.
I'd love to hear about that, Victoria.
Yes, let us know, Victoria. That's amazing. Victoria, I just want to tell you, word on the street is that you're doing an amazing job at Small Business Strong. Victoria is, they call you the officers of officers, and I've heard this from a couple of people, Victoria. So I just wanted to let you know that people are seeing your work, and it's amazing. All right, so with that, yes, you're rocking it. Who would like to share next? And if you can't come off speaker, you can write it in the chat as well.
I can go. Can you hear me?
Yes, Kay.
So sorry, I'm actually like en route to a meeting, but My win for this month, thank you, was that I got my first magazine feature for the shirt brand. So that was very exciting. It went live in virtual format on Monday of this week, and I'll receive a print copy shortly. So that was exciting. I kind of had to work through the process of celebrating the win. It's not a magazine I had heard from before, but they reached out to me with interest in doing the feature. So I really have to take a moment to kind of celebrate the small win. It's the
Yeah.
first, hopefully, of many. So I'm excited about that. And then in terms of intention for the month ahead, I just announced officially that the podcast launch date has been set. So it is scheduled. The first episode will go live on April 12th. So more to come on that. And I can actually drop in the chat the intake form if anybody's interested in being featured on an episode. So I had Clara on and I had Alba on. But it really is just an opportunity to kind of showcase who you guys are, to come on and talk about the work that you do, who you are, how you show up as a multifaceted woman in today's society. So definitely excited to share those stories if anybody's interested in coming on for an episode.
Thank you, Kay. Congratulations on the magazine feature. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the podcast to come out because it wasn't
I'm
just
excited.
a podcast, it was an experience. Okay.
It was.
To be
It
on our
was.
podcast was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Michelle, would you like to share? Are you able to share?
Hi, I can share quickly.
Okay.
I piloted my Letting Go with the Flow workshop earlier this month on March 4th. I had several coworkers and one friend who joined me virtually. So I delivered supplies to everyone and took them through a presentation I put together and then led them through the experience of using a paint technique so that they could find flow and experience the process of not planning, letting go of expectation, letting go of comparison and competition. So sort of, if you think of a paint night experience where you have a set image that you're going to create, deconstructing that and starting with the blank canvas and finding the light along the way in what you're creating and the experience of what it's like to not have a plan and to just go. And so I got really good feedback with that. So my intention is to set that as a bi-monthly offering. And so I'm trying to figure out how to do that with Eventbrite. And then I need to create some content for social to start sharing that out.
Cool. Very cool. Thank you, Michelle.
Mhm.
And so your intention for the month ahead is to create content for social media?
To create content and then figure out how to do the Eventbrite so that it's, it's automatically up there with payment links, registration links.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Cool. Beautiful. Have you, may I give you a suggestion?
Yep.
Have you looked at Airbnb events?
I learned, so I did have a conversation back in November with some of my Lego Serious Play co-facilitators. And one woman actually was talking about advertising what she does as an experience. But I haven't even figured out Eventbrite yet. So I figure like that'll be a next level type thing to offer it on Airbnb. The way that I'm set up right now, business wise, is I'm only registered in the city of Brockton. I'm not registered with the state. And so I can operate from my home office to anyone virtually. So it's the trick with this is making sure that I have enough time to get supplies out to people so that way they can really engage and be part of the process.
Okay.
So yeah, I haven't looked to travel out. I was looking for space to do programs, and I have stopped doing that because I'm not yet registered with the state.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Victoria, do you want to share a win that you've had in this past month and something that you're intending for the month ahead?
Ok. Entiendo que me estás preguntando acerca de lo que he hecho en este último tiempo.
No, la pregunta es que comparta con nosotros como algo bueno que ha sucedido en el último mes que tú quisieras celebrar y algo que tú esperas que suceda, una intención que tú tienes, algo que tú le estás poniendo energía y nosotras celebramos contigo y como que sostenemos la intención.
Okay, I want to share this.
Okay.
The faith is the first in all. I buy this in Boston. Because the spiritual part is very important for me. Now I want to celebrate all the miracles in my life, and in special the thinking what I share with you in Harvard about the change the world. Was a very hard way, but I have a very big achievement. I'm working in a big part of my purpose, and this is amazing. And I want to celebrate this for me, and I want that all women, all people can found this. The purpose, I think, is more important. And follow your dreams and work very hard for your times of like when you are so down, you are so sad and you don't believe in you, and all pass for this situation. But I think the faith and the spirituality more than the religion. I think I want to share this because I was very far of God many times, and I am back into this faith, and I feel so invincible now.
You feel invincible because you're connected to faith.
And I pray every day, and I will pray for all the women in this group. And
thank you.
This is the need for me, and I want to share this, the importance of the spirituality way in my life.
Thank you, Victoria. Yeah, thank you so much. So I get it. You're like, you're working in your purpose and you want that for other women. And when you were at your lowest, you're like, it was like your connection to spirit. You were kind of separated from your spirituality. But now you feel invincible. So what are you hoping to achieve in the month ahead? Like, what's one thing that you're like, oh, I really, I'm intending for this to happen? ¿Qué es una cosa que tú quieres ver que suceda en el mes de abril?
Una cosa, yo creo que I think these things it's happening, and I think that I want to keeping my faith. I want to keep in this way. This is all.
Okay. Maintain your spiritual connection.
Yeah.
I get it. All right. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. So important. Thank you. I think everyone got an opportunity to go, so I guess I'll share mine. One of my major wins this month was that so I've been working on the publishing of my book, of my second book, and I was working with a publisher, and it just wasn't feeling right. Like, it was like, this is off. And I prayed about it, and I said, I was like, this is not feeling 100%. So I decided to stop working with the publishing company, and then I have somebody in my network that does publishing, which I'll be introducing y'all to her, Yolanda Lewis. Her company is called Extreme Overflow Publishing, and she has done amazing work in the Brockton area, as well, you know, internationally, really. But I'll be working with her to publish my book, and it feels like so right in my body to stand up for myself, to like really do what feels right. And when something feels off, to, you know, really honor that. So that was like one of my major wins. And that's what Latasha, I was saying, that I was the metaphor that Latasha gave me when I coached with her many years ago, was that instead of me being a speedy train and a Stella train, that I wanted to be a cruise ship instead. So that's why I'm like, I feel like I turned the ship around, and we're heading in the right direction. And so that's one of my major wins. And so for the month ahead in April, what I am intending is I'm working on hiring my executive assistant full-time. So there's a couple of things that I need to do, like financially, to be able to, you know, I'm really set with that. And so I'm going to be working on that. And so hopefully it'll be all ready to go by the end of April, that I can hire her full-time, because she's amazing. So that is it. So today we didn't get to, we usually pick a card from Kay's, oh, she just left, from her deck, but I want to just pick a card to close off. So the card for today is: challenges make life interesting, and overcoming those challenges makes life worthwhile. Challenges make life interesting, and overcoming those challenges makes life worthwhile. And so I'm going to go ahead and close with that. And also to tell you that our, Victoria, we have photo shoots about every 4 months that we get together and we do together. The next one is going to be on Sunday, April 30th at 3 p.m. It's going to be at one of my clients' office, Talia Barrales' law office. I will be sending information on that, but I just wanted to tell you so you can put it in your calendars, and hopefully you can make it. Sunday, April 30th at 3 p.m. and it'll be downtown Boston, and I'll send more information. So with that, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your energy, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all next month. Well, yeah, we'll see you next month, and then we'll see you at the photo shoot. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for joining us, Victoria.
Nice meeting you, Victoria.
Thanks to everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Latasha.
Bye, lady.
Bye.